This figure, to me, the proportion looks very weird. And if you're telling me the head is too small, well, that is half correct. Because when I look at the head and then I compare it with her shoulders, the width of her shoulders over here, the proportion is actually correct. The problem over here is the bottom half of the body. The hips are very wide and the legs are very long. This looks like a Digimon to me, not a human being. Hi and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this week's Figure News Fix. We will be taking a look at anime figure pre-orders between 27th of March to the 1st of April 2023. Yes, to the 1st of April 2023, but this is real news, proper news for today. If you want to have some fun, yesterday I had a special episode of Figure News. Do check it out, you're going to love it. For today, we'll focus on the proper stuff. So without further ado, let's jump into AmiAmi.com. Firstly, on top the rankings, this is a very interesting week. There are a lot of great figures, a lot of strong poisons this week. Last week, in comparison, was very mild, like meh figures everywhere. This week, ouch. Yeah, it is bad news for our wallets, right? Okay, so in first place, we have B-Style Azulane 1x4 scale. This is actually a surprise to me because 1x4 scales, they are expensive, but to go all the way up to the first place despite the price, everyone has to love this character a lot, I guess. In second place, this is not much of a surprise, Mikamo Neru from Blue Archive. I want it very badly, right? But we'll talk about her more in a moment. In third place, we have something from Senran Kagura. And then, yes, fourth and sixth place, something from Destiny Child. One of my friends wanted this figure as well, but to me, the proportion felt a bit weird. We'll talk about it in a moment. Seventh place, KD Call Fate Grand Order, that is Umu Saber, Nero Claudius. And then, yeah, eighth place, we have one girl, this girl from Quint Essential Quintuplets. Ah, damn, I can't remember her name. Never mind. Okay, and then 9th and 10th place, okay, that's about it. So on the 1st of April, there are no new anime figure pre-orders. Presumably, figure companies, they are coming up with their own jokes maybe. So on the 21st of March, Fridays, figure companies, they love their Fridays. This is one crazy day. Okay, so let's take a look at the first figure over here. We saw this one in Wonder Festival. Hatsune Miku GT Project Racing Miku 2021 private version. 1x7 scale from Max Factory, almost 30,000 yen. I've said this before in my Wonder Festival coverage. I don't understand why this is called Racing Mako because that is obviously not a race queen outfit. But hey, this is a nice figure to have and I can certainly recommend it if you like her. But at the same time, 30,000 yen feels a bit too high for a plain Miku figure in a summer dress, and yeah, a luggage bag right there. This is a very nice figure, I'm not going to lie, and I like her a lot for being very photogenic. As a photographer, I love it when figures appear photogenic, but at the same time, a simple 1x7 scale figure with a luggage bag, 30,000 yen? I'm not very sure. In fact, to me, it feels like the price of this figure might drop after release. That is my personal hunch. Because there are too many Miku figures out there in the market. Way too many. So all these figures, they have to compete with each other. Very few people have the budget to buy every single Miku figures. Except for the hardcore one with deep pockets, with very thick wallets. And for those who have to choose between three choices, they can only pick one out of 3 out of 5 options. Well, a figure like this, I would say it is at a disadvantage because for 30,000 yen, you can get something quite a bit more detailed, I think. Yeah. So, if I were to buy this figure, I'm afraid I will wait after release and hopefully come across some deals. I don't see this Miku holding its value at 30,000 yen. The next figure over here, this is definitely a re-release. We have Vertex Originals Elf Village 8th Villager Cecil Antenna Shop Limited Edition. 1x6 scale, 24,200 yen. There's a cheaper version, much cheaper version for 20,570 yen. But seriously, go for the more expensive one. As you can see, this one does not come with a grass base. Yes, the more expensive version, you're getting this very nice looking base over here. And it is a very well made base. I've seen this figure in person before. If you missed out the first release, go for this re-release. You won't regret buying this figure. This is a very good figure. However, at the same time, Ami is saying this figure is Antenna Shop Limited Edition. And this is why you see the word limited exclusive. It doesn't really mean anything to me most of the time, because exclusivity, limited edition does not really guarantee a figure to be rare and expensive in the aftermarket after release. This one's getting a re-release. What about so-called limited edition or exclusive? That is BS. So if it is actually limited, it shouldn't be re-released. Things like Kotobukiya Shop exclusive, it also doesn't really mean much, to be honest. Yeah. The next one is a figure I want one badly for myself, Dark Sakura. 1x7 scale Sakura Matou, Makiri's Grail version, 1x7 scale from Alter, going for 32,000 yen, very pricey indeed, but hey, Alters, they are very safe pre-orders, right? Very unlikely they will disappoint you after release. Their figures are among the best in the figure industry. And then for the movie, she came from Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel. 3 movies, a trilogy. If you have not watched it yet, go and watch it, even though you don't really understand the story behind this Fate universe, you know. It can be confusing, I know that. But go and watch it just for the animation. It is amazing. It is legendary in a way. Yeah, go and watch it. So with this figure of Sakura over here, case in point, she isn't even in the top 10 best selling rankings in Ami for the week. For a very good reason. This may be an Alter figure, and Sakura may have her own fan base, but she is far from the most popular character in the Fate franchise. Let's face it, right? Saber, Tosaka Rin, they are way more popular than Sakura by a huge margin. So personally, I don't see this figure selling out right after release and becoming rare and expensive. Honestly, I don't see it happening at all. So for me, it is very likely that I might wait for after release before grabbing her. Like a month or 2 after release, buy her for a small discount, 28,000 yen maybe. A small discount is better than no discount at all. You know, it absorbs the shipping cost. So most likely, I'm going to wait until after release. Yeah. And then with this figure of Sakura over here, I've heard 2 common complaints, and they are valid ones actually. The first one is her legs, those tattoos on her legs, all those red color stripes. They say that Alter has overdone it, there's way too much, because in the anime, there are not as many red stripes, and I actually do agree with them that Alter has spammed way too much decals on her leg. But it doesn't really ruin the figure in any way, so I am okay with it. And the second complaint has to do with her face, where people are saying she should have a yandere face, not a smiling face. To me, this looks like a yandere smile, but I do agree that a smile isn't as appropriate for this version of Sakura. Maybe a poker face would be a bit better, I don't know. But at the same time, these 2 negatives are unlikely to deter me from buying this figure. I already have the Aniplex version, which is an excellent figure. Even by Aniplex standards, that is a very well-made figure. Go for it if you come across one. But despite that, I'm going to pick this one up after release, yes. The next one here is a pair of Evangelion figures, Rei and Asuka, 1x7 scale from Mietos, going for 47,800 yen. So that's like 23 or 24k each, which isn't exactly cheap by Chinese figure pricing standards, but it is still reasonable, right? Given that you're getting a plant and a very nice base over there. Of course, you can buy them separately, 25,800 yen each. But seriously, why would you do that? If you buy Evangelion stuff, you need to get both. Yes, you may hate Shinji, but for Rei and Asuka, you need to get both, right? Why buy only one and feel incomplete? To me, it will feel very incomplete if I buy only one. You know, I personally call this incomplete set anxiety syndrome. Yeah, that's what I call it. Where you look at your shelf, only one character, the other half is missing. You feel like it doesn't feel fun, doesn't feel complete, and you don't like that feeling. Yeah, that is what it feels like to me. As for the figure itself, I would say this isn't the best or the most convincing Rei or Asuka figure in the market. There are so many options in the market, and I can easily think of another 1 or 2 figures which I would prefer over this pair over here. For example, the one made by Hobby Stock. Hobby Stock or Hobby Max? I think Hobby Max. The one in the casual radio Eva outfit. I love that a lot. So personally, if I could only choose one, I would go for that one instead of this version over here. This semi-transparent dress, I normally am not a fan of them because they rarely look good on figures. They almost look like wax rather than actual PVC or plastic or actual cloth dress, They don't look good in figures normally. Yeah, if you are a hardcore collector of Evangelion stuff, you might want to pick this pair up. For me, no, this is a skip. I would choose other options in the market. Alright, the next one over here, this is another excellent offering from Phat company. Yeah, hopefully they keep their quality control in check, right? Chainsaw Man Makima 1/7 scale, 24,000 yen almost. Okay, this one right here, I actually do like it, right? Some people will prefer the one by Eastream Shibuya Scramble figure a lot more because, well, with all the blood stains over her, it reflects her character and her supernatural abilities a bit more. Yeah, that is more accurate to how the character is being depicted as a figure. For me, I do like the pose on this figure and the base a lot more, yes. So if I were to choose between the two, it will be a tough choice, but ideally you will want both, right? Buy both. So with this one, my only concern is Phat company keeping up with their quality control. If they can achieve that, this is a very good purchase really. I like this one a lot. 24,000 yen is actually very reasonable for what you're getting. 1/7, that broken wall over there, no, this is a good price actually. Up next, we have Kashoku Odoriko Artero illustrated by Yatsumi Suzuame, 1/6 scale for only under 20,000 yen. 1/6, less than 20k, that is a great price. Apocrypha toy, never heard of them. This reminds me of those Egyptian goddess, Yeah, Nitoquiz from Fate Grand Order, for example. Man, I love the body sculpt. This is an original character. Look at that. The body sculpt is so attractive. Even though this is the kind of figure which is normally not on my main purchase list, my main wish list, but this is quite difficult to resist, yes. And for under 20,000 yen, man, this is a very good purchase, assuming that the brand behind this figure, Apocrypha Toy, they deliver, right? I don't know anything about this brand, never heard of them until today. Next one from JoJo, we have Jolene Kujo from Medicos Entertainment, almost 12,000 yen, non-scale, but this should be a very small figure, right? Because 12,000 yen, you should align your expectations alongside the price you're looking at. So we take a look at the dimensions. 20 centimeters, not bad at all. That is 1/8 scale. But yeah, as I said earlier, you should set your expectations based on the pricing you're paying for. If you're paying very little, do not expect the figure to be highly exceptional, right? You get what you pay for. So with this figure over here, I can already tell that this isn't the kind of figure where you can expect a lot of detailed sculpting and shading and weathering, but that is totally fine. 12,000 yen only after all. Yeah. Medicos Entertainment, however, I've heard some not very nice things about them. Yes, quality control. If you're lucky, you get one copy of the figure that is actually good. If you don't, then yeah, you get some paint issues. So for 12,000 yen, some people would be okay with pre-ordering this one. But if you want to wait until after release, maybe that is not a bad decision at all. Yeah. This next figure over here, I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. This is the worst figure of the week in terms of the value proposition, right? So we are looking at Chainsaw Man, Power and Makima Nurse version in one pair at 1/7 scale, 54,000 yen. That is like 27,000 yen for each figure over here by MAPPA. Well, MAPPA is actually the distributor on this one, the license holder as well. The manufacturer is FuRyu, Phoenix. So look at these pictures and tell me, is this worth 54,000 yen? Does this look like a figure that is worth that much? Because all you're getting is plain pink color nurse outfit with barely any details, no shading, nothing at all. And they're asking for 27,000 yen for each figure over here. And look at the back of the figure, plain pink, plain all the way. 27,000 yen each. I have no idea what MAPPA and FuRyu is thinking, maybe MAPPA is charging quite a hefty amount of licensing fee on FuRyu, or MAPPA themselves are feeling confident they are able to sell this thing for 54k. You know, when you are the rights holder, you are the license holder yourself, you made the anime these two characters came from, you have the freedom to price your own merchandise and your own products. And this is what I'm guessing over here. MAPPA is pricing them this high because they can. Yeah. You look at eStream's offerings, even Phat companies Makima earlier. 24,000 yen, so much better. You get that brick wall over there. This pair of figure, in fact, when I look from far, you know, it looks like price figures to me. At close distance, of course, you can see better refinement, but from far, this looks like price figures. And this figure, there was really a mini uproar in my own Discord server group. There are many other YouTubers inside there, right? Figure YouTubers. And all of them are saying that this figure is overpriced. Everyone's saying the same thing. So really, stay away from this figure. Go and buy any other options. This is hands down the worst pair of Makima and Power figure out there yet so far. Yeah. Up next, we have Rimuru Tempest from that slime anime. That's what I call it. From FuRyu, 32,780 yen. Yes, this is rather expensive, but nowhere as bad as those pair of Makima and Power figures, you know? Because this is a fairly detailed looking figure. Not something I would buy. So far, I don't own any figures from this anime series. But if I were to go for a figure of Rimuru Tempest, yeah, the one by eStream would be the one I go for. The one with wings and an energy shield. I mentioned it before in my previous videos. But that one would be very rare and expensive nowadays, I guess. Yeah. Nice colors though, but that is about it, right? I'm not really a fan of fan service or this kind of wedding dress version. Or this, they call it party dress version. Yeah, not a fan of it. Up next, we have a 1x6 scale figure of Lala Sataline Devaluke from Union Creative, only 17,600 yen. Yeah, even though they are 1x6, this kind of sitting pose figures, they are not very big figures, right? So they shouldn't cost too much. Yeah, and this one is very affordable indeed. To Love Rule, I've said it before in the past as well. They are insanely popular in Japan. So a lot of figure companies, they want in on the profits. And any figure from this series, especially Momo Bilia Devaluke and Yami-chan, Golden Darkness, they become rare and expensive very quickly after release. Lala is close, like she is ranked third perhaps after Momo and Yami in terms of popularity. So if you are interested in this figure of Lala, perhaps pick one up. Perhaps pre-order it, despite the possibility that Union Creative might screw up the paintwork somehow. But for 17,600 yen, that is not a very heavy or big commitment to make. Yeah. Of course, you can go for other brands. Lala figures, they are not exactly that rare either. Go for Max Factory's Bright series, or you can go look for Alter, the one where she is wearing a maid outfit with the pantsu almost down. That is a very good purchase as well, yeah. And that one, the value has been dropping quite a bit, so you might want to consider that one by Alter. The next one, another To Love Through Darkness character. This one, Mia Kurosaki was introduced only in Season 3. 1x6 scale, 19,000 yen. Yeah, by all means, pre-order it if you are not afraid of Union Creative screwing up the paintwork. But really, Union Creative is nowhere as bad as some other figure brands like Force Japan. Very far from it. Their figures are actually decent. Yeah, pre-order one if you are afraid that she might sell out. Mia Kurosaki, she is also in top 5 most popular characters in the To Love Ru franchise. No, the Outer version, yeah, that came out many years ago. She became very rare and expensive back then that at some point, Outer had to re-release it once. And even till today, she is still relatively rare and expensive. Yeah, so Mia Kurosaki isn't a character you should mess with as well, as far as the popularity is concerned. Finally, we are done with the anime figures on the 31st of March, so we go down to the 30th of March. There are like a couple of very good figures on this one day as well. The first figure over here from Blue Archive, we have a 1x7 scale Mikamo Neru Bunny Girl version for 24,750 yen. Yeah, fairly pricey, but given the accessories that Barstool are getting and all the rifles, I think that is a reasonable pricing coming from Spiritale. So with this figure over here, In my previous figure news videos, I mention it almost every week, right? That there are too many bunny girl figures nowadays. Every week we see at least one bunny girl figure going on pre-order. So it will take a lot of convincing for me to pre-order one or purchase one. I need something unique, something attractive, something different. And this figure of Mikamo Neru over here is one such example of a unique looking bunny girl figure. Putting the face expression aside, I think she's a tsundere, right? That looks like a tsundere expression to me. Putting the face expression aside, which is already fairly unique and not something you see often with anime figures. You get the bar stool over there, you get some chains, and then you have two rifles hanging off it. And to top things off, that base over there. Yeah, tokens from what you see in a casino, I guess. So this is a very unique proposition, a very good setup for a figure. And you have a bunny figure over here wearing a thick jacket over her. I'm still trying to decide whether to pre-order early, whether to break my own rules and pre-order this one. But I would say that this is a figure I want one very badly. Yes, I want it. I'm bookmarking it for now, and I will take my time to decide. The next one is the best selling figure of the week on Ami, Beastal Azalane La Galicinia, Black Cat of All Hallows Eve, 1x4 scale, just under 40,000 yen. That is actually a great price for 1x4. Now I can see why she is selling so well. The hair, I think it is made of semi-transparent material. I think like, no, those candy tone transparent material. It looks like that to me. I'm not too sure. To me, this figure isn't unique enough to attract me to purchase one. Like, you know, the dress, the outfit, just plain black all the way. But perhaps the character is a very popular one in Azalane. I don't know Azalane that well in terms of which character is more popular, you know. But yeah, this is a very nice figure. Face expression is great. This Nekomimi pose. You could say that the pose is what is the most attractive about this figure. I can see that. If you like this figure, yes, definitely pre-order this one. I don't think FuRyu is going to re-release it. If they do, they're going to remove the stockings over there. Yeah. The next figure is from Senran Kagura Shinobi Master. That's like the season 2. New Link Yozakura Sexiness version. 1x4 scale from Hobby Stock, 26,000 yen. Great price. Not much details to see actually, you know. The paintwork on this figure is very flat, I can tell. Not much shading, but really there isn't much clothes to shade anyway. 26k for a 1x4 is always great value. So I think that the trade-off where you get less details in the paintwork is acceptable when the figure is as cheap as a 1x7 scale figure nowadays. Yeah. If you like Senran Kagura, maybe pick this one up. I'm not sure if this is cast offable, but based on how the bikini actually, you know, squeezes her boobs, you know, there's some curves over there around the outline of the boobs. I don't think this is cast offable, but nonetheless, 26k is a great price. This next figure over here is very random. She came out of nowhere, and certainly a surprise to me that FuRyu bothered to make a figure of this character. So we have Misaka Mikoto, the main character of the Railgun series. If you haven't watched the anime, please do watch it. It's really good. Misaka Mikoto, there are many scale figures of her out there, but the same can't be said for her clone army. Yeah, she was being cloned in the anime. So there are like 10,000, 20,000 clones of her, and this is clone number 10,032. Yeah, so from a certain magical index, Misaka, unit 10,032, 1x7 scale from FuRyu, 22,000 yen. That is a great price coming from FuRyu. For once, they are pricing a figure appropriately for what you're getting. But speaking of this character itself, while Misaka had so many scale figures, her clone army never had a proper scale figure. Yes, there were like 1 or 2 price figures of her ever made, very rare, and then there are action figures of her with her wearing, you know, the goggles. But for a scale figure, yeah, I don't remember any. If there is 1 or 2 out there, please do let me know down in the comments below. So in a way, that is why this figure is such a surprise to me, even more so in this doctor outfit over here. Should you pick up this one? If you are a fan of the Index and Railgun series, I can certainly recommend this one. This is not something you see often in the anime figure market. Yeah. She has that blank stare eyes over there. All of her clone armies do. Next one over here from the movie, the quintessential quintuplets, we have Nino, Nakano, floral dress version, 1/7 scale by Shibuya Scramble figure. Almost 30,000 yen is actually an okay price for this figure. But I've mentioned it before, yeah, I will skip this set of figures from Shibuya Scramble figure. I would personally prefer the casual outfit versions by Good Smile at 1/6 scale. The colors on this figure of Nino is very attractive though. You know, the violet purple, the bright violet purple over there contrasting with her red color hair very well. Pink color hair, I guess. The contrast in colors is great over here. Very attractive. But despite that, no, I can't see myself picking up this figure. 30k is okay. It is an okay price for what you're getting over here. The next figure over here, Flamingo, Ballet Girl illustration by Nekojira, 1/7 scale, only under 10,000 yen, from Astrum Design, a Chinese brand. I can certainly see why this figure is so cheap because, I mean, look at her hair in front and then the dress, the pink color dress on the side. Yeah, it is just plain pink color on the dress, not much details going on. So at least Astrum Design is pricing the figure appropriately. Because this figure isn't a very sophisticated and detailed one, she doesn't cost too much. The price of this figure, this is more in line with what I would personally expect on that pair of Makima and Power figure earlier. Yeah, maybe 15,000 yen each maximum, so 30,000 yen for a pair, not 54,000 yen. The sculpt is actually okay, looks very nice over there, but this isn't something I would buy. And the last figure for this day, from Senki Jesho Symphogear GX Kirika Akatsuki 1/7 scale, almost 25,000 yen by Hobby Stock. I mentioned this in the last week's video, where Senki Jesho Symphogear is kind of popular. Maybe perhaps because of the music inside, the songs inside performed by Nana Mizuki. She is like one of the big names in the anime J-pop industry, right? Anisong industry. So with Senki Jesho Symphogear, if you want their figures, pre-order one before you regret it later. Yes. I don't like the character of this that much. My favorite character design in this series is Chris. Yeah, with all those heavy miniguns, machine guns, and all those missiles. Chris is my favorite character design, not this one. That's all for figure pre-orders on the 30th of March. We go down to the 29th of March. More scale figures on this day. Well, some really good ones even. The first figure over here from Destiny Child, War Goddess, we have a Gracia 1/6 scale from Any Gift for only 24,200 yen. And 1/6, that is a great price, 24k. So this should be 28 centimeters tall, I think. Yes, 28 centimeters. Alright. There's a cheaper version by the way, but just 1,200 yen cheaper, really up to you. Okay, so with this figure, to me, the proportion looks very weird. And if you're telling me the head is too small, well, that is half correct. Because when I look at the head and then I compare it with her shoulders, you know, the width of her shoulders over here, the proportion is actually correct. But once you go below the shoulder level, yeah, the boobs are on the big side, but still okay, I've seen worse. The problem over here is the bottom half of the body. The hips are very wide and the legs are very long. So this looks more like a Digimon to me, like Omegamon. Yeah, very long legs, very small head. However, the character design is very nice. You see, there isn't much details going on with the paintwork. You look at the hair over there, just plain white color, not much shading, but 1/6 at 24k, I think that is excusable. So this is the kind of figure where you buy depending on whether you like the character design. This is kind of unique. Handcuffs over there. At the end of her hair strands. Yeah, unique character design, but that is about it. This isn't human, this is a Digimon. The next one over here, this is actually one of the figures of the week as well. So from the League of Legends, Kaisa, complete figure, non-scale from Apex Toys, 33,000 yen. So non-scale, this figure is 30 centimeters tall. 30 cm all the way to the top of her shoulders, right, not the head. So this is closer to 1/8 scale, I think. But nonetheless, given what you're getting over here, you look at the details on the base, all those rock base, right? And then all those flame effect parts. And then, let's check out the details on this figure. You know, 33,000 yen is actually very reasonable given what you're getting with this figure. And Apex has already made quite a name for themselves with their Ningguang figure, their Genshin figures in general. There was a LOL figure that released last year, you know, that Ninetale Fox, I don't know her name because I don't play this game. That was an amazing figure, and I don't see how this would be any different. So if you like what you're looking at, yes, definitely pre-order this one. This is a very good pre-order. Up next, oh boy, Umu Saber Nero Claudius Venus Silk version, 1/7 scale by Kadokawa, 25,000 yen. I guess this is standard pricing for 1/7 scale nowadays. Yeah, standard pricing, not expensive, not cheap either. Do I want one? Yes. Is it a very big want to me? Not really. This is one of those FGO figures where if I have the spare budget lying around, I might pick one up. If I don't, I'm fine without her as well in my collection. Yeah. To me, you know, her armor version, the one where she is holding a sword, how the original character is like, that is always my priority with FGO. This is just a nice add-on and additional to my collection if I happen to be able to afford it. That faceplate over there, I like it a lot. That smiling faceplate, very narrow, very Umu Saber. So should you pre-order this one? If you want that bonus faceplate over there, then yes. That bonus faceplate is not available on every website, right? Only 2 or 3 figure stores offer it. So if you like what you're looking at, go ahead and pre-order this figure of Nero Claudius or Umu Saber. Up next, this is the perfect comparison to that Chainsaw Man Power and Makima Nurse version earlier. I'm going to keep bringing up that 2 figures, man. Those 2 terrible figures. Okay, this one here, Prisma Wing Manjiro Sano, 1/7 scale from Tokyo Revengers, 27,620 yen. That is actually a great price when you look at the entire package. Look at the base over there, the accessory you're getting. And then you look back at that Makima and Power Nurse figure earlier. That was 27,000 yen for each plain Nurse figure. And this is also 27,000 yen. Which is the better buy? 10 out of 10 of you watching this will say this is a better buy, even though this is a dude and you don't necessarily collect male characters. This is still a better buy, right? So yes, Prisma Wing is also a rather reputable brand. If you like this figure, you like what you're looking at, go ahead and pre-order this one. The next one here, we have a SJW bait right there. Hokai Gakuen Feminines Succubus 1/7 scale lolly character. 17,000 yen at 1/7 is cheap, but this won't be a big figure, right? So we take a look at the dimensions. Yeah, there you go, 15 centimeters only. Small figure, lolly character after all. Not something I would buy, but at the same time, yeah, this is kind of attractive in some ways. There are so many Succubus X-rated figures in the anime figure world, you know. This is just another one. I don't think this is customable at all, no. And with this photo over here, it feels like her eyes look a bit weird, like they are shifted to one side a bit. I'm not so sure. Maybe that is just an illusion. It is very rare for anime figure brands to mess up the eyes area, even for the very worst figure brands out there. They usually don't mess up the eyes, right? So that is just an illusion. Oh, you get a second faceplate even. That's all for the 29th of March. We go down to the 28th of March. 3 more scale figures on this day. 2 really good ones in fact. The first one is that A 1/7 scale original character, I think, by Wing Company. The 38,000 yen is very expensive indeed. But this is a very tall figure, right? And that with that base and prop over there, this is good. This is at 42 centimeters tall. Will it fit in the D12? I'm not so sure. Anyways, with this figure, I like the character design a lot. I have always been a fan of science fiction and those futuristic looking character designs. And with this figure over here, I can imagine her in a wasteland, with buildings collapsing, exploding, fires around her, you know, World War III, World War X, I don't know. Similar to what you see in Ark Knights or God Eater, a wasteland in general. Yeah, a figure like this in a wasteland with a good camera and some lights, yeah, that would make for a very nice figure photo. Will I pre-order this one? Will I buy this one? Chances are very low, despite me liking the character design a lot, because, well, priorities, you only have so much money and you have to limit the purchases to those you want badly the most. And sadly, this one just falls outside of my priority. Up next, from Uma Musume Pretty Derby, we have a 1x7 scale figure of Mihono Bourbon, the chestnut cyborg, 1x7 scale, on discount, 22,240 yen only by Good Smile. That is a great price, down from 26,800 yen. That is a great discount. If you want to pre-order early, that is not a bad decision to make. And I can tell at first glance, this figure right here is at the level of Good Smile's Soji Okita or Modred from FGO. Both, I've reviewed both figures. Because this figure is going to get a huge and high quality box, shipping this won't be cheap. And all those parts, they'll be separate in the box. And it is going to be fairly challenging to assemble this figure. You might want to avoid breaking something, right? So I can easily tell alone that this is a higher grade skill figure in Good Smile's lineup, you know. With Good Smile, they have several tiers of skill figures. The cheaper ones, they are under 16k, like, you know, Takina, Chisato from Nicoy's Recall. Those are very cheap. Those are their lower tier skill figures. And then this is their mid tier, mid to higher tier skill figure, where they actually get a very good packaging and the figure quality, the paint job is excellent. Of course, there are higher tiers one like 40k, those Good Smile exclusive ones where you can only pre-order in their website. Yeah, those are the high tier Good Smile figures. Can I recommend this one? Yes, go for it if you like her. And lastly, for this day, To Love You Darkness Miya Kurosaki. This is a re-release but with the stockings removed, typical freeing. 23k is a great price for 1x4 scale, so if you missed out the first version with stocking, this is your second chance, though you have to make do with the bare leg version. Same story all the time. Alright, and then we go back to the 27th of March, the last figure for today. This is a long video, I know. So the last figure, this one I think she already went on pre-order months ago. Long Range Doshiko say, I'm notes 1x7 scale by Amakuni. I want this figure badly actually. And I love JKs, I've told you guys before. So I don't know why Ami is bringing up this figure right now. Maybe pre-orders are closing soon. Yeah. So this is one I can recommend as well. Amakuni is a great figure brand. And if I have some spare budget lying around, this is something I would love to have on my shelf. I want this figure a lot. Yeah. Schoolgirls with weapons, very nice combination. I love that combination. And that concludes today's Figure News Fix for figures going on pre-order from 27 March to 1st of April 2023. Which figure are you pre-ordering this week? Which one will you buy after release? Let me know down in the comments below. And thank you very much for watching. See you guys again very soon and goodbye.